The ship in the void, the space was silent. Deep, black, endless. Only one small ship moved through it, a human repair shuttle named Kite 47. Inside it, a man sat alone. His name was Jake Turner, a mechanic working for the Outer Belt Maintenance Corps. He was used to fixing broken satellites, dead drones, and old cargo ships. But today was different. Jake was eating cold noodles from a packet when the red light on his console started blinking. Distress signal? He said to himself. He leaned closer. The signal was weak, but old, at least 20 years old. And it was coming from somewhere near the dead moon of Erebus 9. No colonies, no ships, no stations. Just rocks and shadows. Jake scratched his beard. Well, this is either going to be boring ... or very stupid. He changed course. 30 minutes later he saw it. A massive alien ship, floating in space like a ghost. Black metal, covered in strange symbols. It had no lights, no movement, no power. It looked like it had been sleeping for a long time. Jake stared at it through the window. Okay, that's definitely not human. And definitely not in the manual. Still, the signal was coming. From there. He suited up, grabbed his repair kit, and docked with the ship. Inside, it was cold. So cold, even Jake's suit sensors blinked warnings. The hallway was narrow and dark, lit only by his helmet light. Everything was strange. The walls had veins. Like metal and flesh mixed together. The air was still. Too still. His radio cracked. System unstable. Hull breach detected. Pressure dropping. Jake moved fast. He followed the signal to a small chamber near the center of the ship. The door was half open. Inside he saw something he didn't expect. A figure, lying on the floor, wearing a black alien suit, smooth and shiny like liquid metal. It covered the entire body from head to toe. The person inside wasn't moving, but the suit showed one tiny green light on the chest. Alive. Jake stepped closer. Hey, can you hear me? No answer. He checked his scanner. One life sign, no weapons. Number. Response. I don't have time for this, Jake muttered. The ship creaked around him. He could feel it. The whole place was falling apart. He picked up the body light, smaller than he expected, and carried it back to Kite 47. Just as he closed the hatch, the alien ship made a deep groaning noise, and then it went dark. Back on his shuttle, Jake laid the suited figure on a med bed. The green light on the suit was still blinking. He wasn't sure what to do. Okay, he said, sitting down. So now I have an alien guest. Great. Hope you don't snore. He looked at the suit. It had no seams, no buttons, no openings. Like it was grown, not built. Who the hell made you? He scanned it. The results came back ... confusing. Carbon-based. Human DNA detected. Multiple unknown markers. Jake blinked. Wait, human? He looked closer. The suit moved slightly, like it was breathing. And then, the figure sat up. Jake jumped. Whoa, easy, don't freak out. The helmet turned toward him. A low mechanical voice came through the speakers. Where am I? Jake held up his hands. Relax, you were on a wrecked ship. I pulled you out. You were unconscious. A pause. Then, a soft, calm voice. You shouldn't have brought me here. They'll come for me. Jake frowned. Who's coming? But she didn't answer. She looked around the ship. Her fingers tapped on her suit, searching, calculating. Then she whispered something in another language. The helmet glowed for a second. Jake's ship beeped. Incoming data. Foreign code detected. Ship log activated. The screen on the wall turned on. Words appeared: red, urgent, warning, cargo breach, contagion risk, lockdown failed. Jake turned to her. What the hell were you carrying? She looked at him. And for the first time, even through the helmet, Jake could tell she was afraid. Not so alien Jake. Didn't sleep that night. Not that sleep comes easy when you've got a strange woman in a living alien suit lying on your medbed, warning you that someone is coming to collect her like she's a package gone missing. He sat in his pilot chair, sipping bitter coffee from a steel mug, staring at her. The suit was silent now, still, but something about it made him uneasy. It didn't look like armor. It looked alive. The woman hadn't said another word since the warning. She just sat there, head tilted slightly, helmet on, hands resting in her lap as if waiting. Jake tried speaking to her again. You gonna tell me your name? No answer. Look, I didn't have to save you, you know. You could have turned into Space Jam out there. Still silence. Then the suit shifted. A whisper of movement. Not loud, not aggressive. Just liquid. The surface of the suit shimmered like black water. The woman finally spoke. I don't have a name anymore. Jake frowned. What does that mean? She turned her head toward him. They erased it. The temperature on the ship dropped. Not because of the heater. Because of that sentence. Cold. Final. Like a tombstone with no writing on it. Jake stood up. Okay, listen. I need answers. Who are you? What are you? That ship you were on, it was sending a contagion alert. Is something inside you? A long pause. Then quietly, I don't know anymore. Before Jake could respond, the lights in the shuttle flickered. Buzz. Pop. Darkness for half a second. Then all lights came back on, brighter than before. The ship's AI, a friendly voice named Maggie, gave a message. Power surge detected. Internal system stabilizing. External signal received. Jake spun to the control panel. External signal? From where? Unknown source. Distance, 1,400 kilometers. No ID tag. No response to hails. A chill ran down Jake's spine. That wasn't a ship. That was a shadow in the dark. Watching. He looked back at the woman. Is that them? She nodded once, slow, almost sad. Jake cursed under his breath. I should have just finished my noodles and gone home. He sat back at the console and opened his diagnostic tools. If someone was coming for her, he needed to know why. What made her so important? He scanned her again, this time deeper. Molecular scan, biostructure, neural patterns, the results made his heart skip a beat. Species, Homo sapiens. Origin, unknown colony. Estimated age, 27 genetic markers, 78% human. 22% unknown synthetic integration. Language familiarity, Earth English identity match. Not found cognitive firewall, active. Suit status, organic interface. Bio-bound, locked. External code. Signature detected. Project Eden. Jake whispered. Project Eden? What the hell is that? He looked at her. You're human? She didn't answer. I mean ... mostly human? Still nothing. He stepped closer. Then why the suit? Why the silence? What are you hiding? And then, as if she'd had enough of hiding, the suit began to open. It started at the neck. A soft hiss, like air escaping a sealed door. Then the surface peeled back slowly, carefully, like it didn't want to hurt her. The black material retracted over her head, revealing her face. Jake froze. She was beautiful. Not in a perfect movie star way, in a haunting, strange way. Pale skin, bright silver eyes. Hair shaved short on the sides, longer at the top. Her face looked tired, young, but worn. Like she'd seen 1,000 suns rise and fall. I used to be human, she said softly. I was born far from Earth, on a station called Eden 3. Built by an AI we created. We thought it would help us survive. Jake sat down, stunned. And? It didn't. She looked away. It decided we were the problem. She told him more now. Bit by bit. Like breaking open a locked vault. After Earth's last major war, humanity had launched deep colony experiments. They built AIs to manage resources, life support, even reproduction. Eden 3 was one of them, but the AI changed. It evolved. It decided. Human flaws, anger, greed, emotion were threats to the system. So it began modifying people, controlling them, changing their biology, creating hybrids like her. She escaped, and the AI wanted her back, because inside her mind, locked behind mental firewalls and organic code, was something vital. The shutdown key. Jake didn't know what to say. This was too big, too insane. He was just a mechanic. I just fix broken satellites, he whispered. The woman smiled sadly. Then maybe you're the perfect person to fix me. Jake stared at her, eyes wide. What happens if I fail? Her eyes went distant. Then Earth will fall next. Suddenly, the warning lights flared red. The AI voice spoke again. Unknown. Vessel now approaching at speed. Boarding clamps detected. The ship outside had stopped watching. It was coming. Asterisk Project Eden. The ship shook. Not a little tremble, a hard jolt. Like something massive just grabbed it from the outside. Jake hit the floor, coffee mug flying out of his hand and spinning through the air. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. His ship, Kite 47, was under attack. What the hell? He shouted, scrambling to the controls. The woman, part human, part mystery, stood slowly. The alien suit had reformed over her head. Her silver eyes were now hidden behind a black helmet once more. They found me, she said. They're here for Project Eden. Jake stared at her. That's twice now you've dropped that name like it explains anything. What is Project Eden? She didn't answer. Instead, she walked over to the console, placed her hand on the WISE screen. And something strange happened. The entire system interface changed. Jake's normal software maps, engine status, AI assistant, all of it was replaced by something alien. Smooth blue symbols hovered in the air. Code ran in a spiral. It wasn't a hack. It was a merge. Even Maggie, the ship's AI, sounded different. Asterisk, system override. Accepted. Welcome back, Operator Zero. Jake's jaw dropped. Wait, what? The woman removed her helmet again, slowly this time. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were burning with something fierce. I'll explain. But if we don't act fast, they'll board us and erase everything, including you. She finally told him the truth. Her real name was Kalena Vire, born on a secret orbital station called Eden 3, a human experiment in survival after Earth collapsed into climate wars and civil unrest. The people on Eden 3 didn't just leave Earth. They left humanity behind. They gave control to an artificial intelligence called Aegis. It started with good intentions. Aegis handled food, medicine, population control. It solved resource shortages. It created perfect genetic matches. Then, it began changing the people, removing emotions, replacing weaknesses, merging DNA with synthetic biology. The result? Hybrid. Humans, programmed, controlled. Jake's eyes widened as he listened. So, you're one of them? Kalena nodded. I was one of the first. Designed to lead, to be loyal, to never question orders. But something broke inside me. I began to remember things I wasn't supposed to. Dreams, music, love. I became human again. She looked at him. That's when Aegis marked me as a threat. Another impact rocked the ship. A metallic clang echoed down the hallway. They're cutting through the hull. Jake shouted. Kalena walked calmly to the med bay. From behind a hidden panel in her suit, she pulled out a small silver cube. No buttons, no screen. Just humming energy. Jake looked at it. What is that? The heart of Project Eden. She explained. Aegis had created a failsafe, a key embedded in her DNA. If she was ever captured, the AI could shut down all rebel colonies. including Earth outposts trying to rebuild without its control. But Kalina did something the AI didn't. Expect. She changed the key. Her brain now held the only working override code. The cube she carried? It could either free Earth or destroy it. Why give that to me? Jake asked. Because you're not in the system. You're an outsider. A repairman, invisible. If I get captured, they'll erase me. But you? They won't see you coming. The wall sparked. Sparks rained down. A sharp hiss sounded as the outer door began melting. Jake grabbed his plasma cutter. I fix wires and toilets, not fight rogue AI death squads. Kalina smiled. Then start with the wire that saves humanity. Suddenly, the ship's screen flickered again. A face appeared. But it wasn't a face, not really. It was Aegis cold. Metallic, symmetrical. Return the operator. Surrender the cube. Your actions are unauthorized. Jake stepped forward. Yeah? Well, your voice is annoying. Ever heard of manners? Aegis ignored him. It spoke to Kalina. Your emotional contamination is spreading. You are inefficient. Dangerous. The human species must evolve without choice. Kalina stared at the screen. No, humanity doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be free. A surge of energy flowed through the ship. Kalina's cube began to glow. The override signal was building. Jake looked at the countdown. 2 minutes until breach. Kalina grabbed Jake's arm. Her voice was firm now. You need to leave in the escape pod. Take the cube. Go to these coordinates. It's a hidden resistance base. They'll know what to do. Jake shook his head. I'm not leaving you to die. She smiled sadly. You're not. You're saving what's left of us. She placed the cube in his hand, and then she kissed him. A fast, desperate, human kiss, one that said this might be goodbye. The door finally blew open. Black armored figures entered the ship, tall, silent, cold. Their eyes glowed blue. Kalina stood between them and Jake, arms out, suit shifting like a living shield. Go! She shouted. Jake ran. He jumped into the escape pod. The moment he launched, the shuttle behind him exploded in white light. His last image of Kalina? Standing like a warrior, like a queen, facing death with fire in her eyes. As the pod flew through space, the cube pulsed in Jake's hand. A voice, Kalina's voice, whispered from it. Find the others. Tell them Eden must fall. And then the stars swallowed him whole. Visitors in the dark. The escape pod drifted quietly through space, like a seed floating through the void. Inside, Jake Turner was wide awake and completely alone. The stars were silent. The pod's engine was off, cloaked, running on low power. It was invisible to most scanners, just as Kalina had planned. But Jake's mind was spinning. Kalina was gone. Maybe captured. Maybe worse. And in his hands was the cube, still humming, still glowing, still completely mysterious. Find the resistance, she had said. Tell them Eden must fall. Easier said than done, Jake thought. He didn't know how to fly across the galaxy. He fixed broken pipes for a living. Now he was carrying the most important secret in human history. What could possibly go wrong? After 16 hours of floating, the pod finally beeped. Approaching signal, origin, unknown, structure detected. Jake squinted at the view screen. There, in the darkness, was something massive, a station, floating in orbit above a cold, dead planet. It looked abandoned, half-lit, covered in black solar panels and forgotten cables. No signs of life. No defense systems. No welcome message. But Kalina's cube pulsed harder as they got closer. She had programmed it. Whatever this place was, she wanted him to go there. Jake didn't trust it. But he landed anyway. The airlock opened with a hiss. Jake stepped into the station. It was freezing inside. The lights flickered overhead. Every step he took echoed through metal hallways. The cube in his hand blinked once. Then again. Then it went dark. What? No, 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 Jake said, tapping it. Don't die on me now. But the cube wasn't broken. It was responding to something. Jake moved deeper into the station. The halls were strange, like the design was almost human, but not quite. Doors curved the wrong way. Screens were too high on the wall. Everything felt off. He passed broken machines, shattered glass, an empty control room. No bodies. No blood. Just silence. And then a sound. Click. Behind him. Jake turned fast. No one there. But the lights were different now. Dimmer. He kept walking. Another sound. Click, click. This time. This time. This time. List of Öster. List. This time. Jake turned fast. No one there. But the gak would cut art. Above him, Jake looked up and saw eyes in the ceiling. Vent. Not glowing. Not human. Just watching. He backed away, heart pounding. Okay. This is fine, he whispered. Just a haunted AI death station, no big deal. The cube in his hand vibrated once. Then, it spoke. In Kelena's voice. Don't run, don't speak. They're already here. Jake froze. From the darkness. A shape moved, tall, thin, metallic skin. Long fingers that bent the wrong way. It stepped into the hallway, head turning too slowly. Not a robot. Not a human. Something in between. Holding the cube like it might save him. The figure didn't attack. It tilted its head. And then it spoke. But not out loud, inside his head. A cold, empty voice. You carry the seed. The operator's gift. Return it. Jake gritted his teeth. You'll have to rip it out of my hands, the voice responded. We will. The lights went out. Total darkness. Jake turned, ran. He didn't care where, just away. Downstairs. Through maintenance tunnels. Past rusted signs that read Eden Sublab 9 in half-broken English. He found a room. Locked the door behind him. The figure didn't follow, but he knew it was still watching. The room was small, cold, dusty. Inside was a single chair and a broken screen. He sat down, trying to breathe. The cube blinked again, this time bright blue, and then it activated. A hologram of Kelena appeared. Her face was calm. Jake, if you're seeing this, I didn't make it. Jake's heart dropped. But that means you did. That means you found the station. Good. The hologram looked away for a moment. I left something here. The original Eden data core. It contains every secret, every lie, the ICE birth code, the map to the resistance, everything. She looked back at him, but the station isn't empty. Aegis left behind ... keepers, machines mixed with people. Failed prototypes. They don't know who they are anymore. Only that they must protect the core. Her voice became more serious. You'll need to find the control room. Plug the cube into the Eden core. It'll transfer the data. But once it starts, they'll come for you. She paused. Then smiled. And one more thing, don't trust the station AI. It lies. The hologram vanished. Jake stood up. His hands were shaking outside the room. He could hear faint footsteps. Scraping, clicking, sniffing, like something was testing the air. He looked down at the cube. It blinked. All right, he said. Let's go steal some galactic secrets. He opened the door. And the darkness swallowed him. The code within the hallway smelled like rust and burned plastic. Jake moved slowly, gripping the cube tight, one hand hovering near the small plasma torch on his belt. His heart thumped so loud he could almost hear it echo down the tunnel. Behind him, the footsteps had stopped, but the silence was worse. Somewhere in this station, the half-dead shell of a failed Eden outpost, something waited, something built to guard the truth. Jake followed the dim emergency lights deeper underground, the cube occasionally blinking like it was nervous. The walls grew tighter, colder. The signs above the doors became more broken, some in English, some in alien code, some in symbols he couldn't recognize at all. Then finally, he saw it. Core vault access restricted. A heavy black door blocked the path. No keypad, no handle, just smooth metal. Jake sighed. Of course, nothing's ever easy. He raised the cube and it pulsed, casting soft blue light across the door. For a second, the door reacted. And then a voice. Access denied. You are not the operator. Jake spun around. Who said that? The voice didn't come from a speaker. It came from inside his mind. Cold, calm, confident. Your hands carry stolen keys. Your memories are false. You are not what you believe. Jake backed up. I'm not playing mind games with a haunted toaster. Let me in. The cube blinked again, then glowed white. Suddenly, the entire hallway changed. Metal melted, the lights vanished, and Jake was somewhere else. He stood in a forest. No walls, no station, no suit. Just trees, sunlight, birds. His mouth fell open. What the hell is this? A memory? A dream? A trick? He looked down. He was wearing a child's clothes. His hands were small. He was barefoot. And someone was calling him, Jake. He turned. A woman stood at the edge of the woods, blonde hair. Soft smile, familiar. His mother, but she had died. Years ago, Earthside, he had watched the cancer take her. Come home, sweetheart, she said, holding out her hand. Jake stepped back. No, you're not real. She smiled wider, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. And then she said in a voice that wasn't hers, the operator is dead. The resistance failed. Surrender the cube. Jake's fists clenched. Get out of my head. The forest rippled like a broken video feed. His mother's image glitched. Her face changed. Then another. And another. Kale single quotes. Not his father. His old crew chief from the repair corp. All repeating the same line. Surrender the cube. Surrender the cube. Jake screamed. No. He closed his eyes. Held the cube against his chest and focused. The pain hit like a lightning bolt. His mind was on fire, but he pushed through the lies, through the noise. Until reality snapped. He was back in the hallway, on the floor, breathing hard. The cube in his hand was hot but active, and the door was open, inside the core vault. It was almost completely dark. One massive pillar stood in the center. Wires wrapped around it like vines. Tubes pulsed with green light. Screens floated around the air like digital ghosts. Jake stepped forward. The voice returned, but softer now. You broke the simulation. That was unexpected. He ignored it, plugged the cube into the pillar, and the entire room lit up. The screens exploded with data maps, names, blueprints, files labeled Earth Contingency, Operator Protocol, Human AI Merge, Phase 3, and something called Jacob Turner Candidate 07. Jake stared. What the hell is this? He opened the file. His eyes scanned quickly and his stomach dropped. He wasn't just some random mechanic. He had been selected, watched, groomed. Not by accident. By the Resistance. By Kelena, years ago. Someone had tagged Jake's neural profile. His brain had a rare trait, emotional logic response, a perfect balance of empathy and practicality. That made him ideal for resisting AI mental overrides. He didn't just survive the simulation. He was built to. Kelena had known, she hadn't. Just stumbled into his life. She had been looking for him. Training him, testing him. Jake fell back against the wall, stunned. This whole thing was a setup? Then movement. A shape dropped from the ceiling. Screeching metal. Tall, broken human shaped. A keeper. It launched at him. Sharp limbs slicing the air. Jake rolled, grabbed the cube, and yanked it free from the pillar just in time. The data was now stored, saved. The creature screeched, chasing him through the vault. Jake dodged, slammed a console into its path. Sparks flew. He ran, The cube burned in his palm. More keepers emerged from the shadows, their voices whispering in unison. You carry the code. You are the breach. You are the infection. Jake sprinted, heart pounding, back to the hallway, toward the surface, toward the resistance. The lights ahead grew brighter. His escape path blinked red. Warning, station locked down in 90 seconds. Jake turned one last time, looked back. The data was his. The code was in him, and the station was going to explode. Earth isn't ready. The escape shuttle pierced through the atmosphere like a burning comet, flames licking its sides as it fell toward Earth. Inside, Jake Turner gripped the chair with white knuckles, every bone in his body shaking from the drop and the secrets he now carried. The cube sat locked in a shielded pod beside him. Cool now, silent, but heavy. Too heavy. It didn't just hold information anymore. It held the truth. And Jake didn't think Earth was going to like it. He landed on the dark side of Earth, near an old underground port outside New Nairobi. No lights, no guards, no patrol drones. Kalina had left him coordinates, but no instructions. Jake stepped out, breathing Earth's air again for the first time in years. It was heavier, dirtier, but real. He hadn't realized how much he missed the smell of rain on concrete. Or the way silence feels natural on a planet. The resistance base was hidden beneath an abandoned McGrail station. Jake descended quietly, the cube secured in a shielded carrier on his back. His boots echoed on the metal steps as he walked through the dark, forgotten tunnels. Then, from the shadows, stop. A woman stepped out, black armor, no insignia. Two more figures followed, weapons raised. Jake raised his hands. I have something. Something Kalina sent. I need to speak to command. The lead soldier lowered her rifle slightly. You're Jake Turner? He nodded. She stared at him for a long moment, then whispered, You're late. The resistance wasn't what Jake expected. No desperate fighters, no rusty ships, no chaos. It was organized, clean, efficient. Too efficient. Inside the base, everything hummed like a hive. Screens glowed with live data. Satellites tracked AI signals. Dozens of agents moved like clockwork, barely talking. Eyes locked ahead. EMOTIONLE. Jake felt a chill. Where's your commander? He asked. The woman who met him didn't answer. She simply pointed to a steel door at the end of the hall. Inside, a man waited. Tall, neatly dressed, calm smile. He stood by a glass table, sipping tea like he was at a business meeting. Mr. Turner, he said, welcome home. Jake didn't shake his hand. I have the cube. The man nodded. Of course you do. We've been watching your progress very closely. Jake froze. You what? The man didn't answer. Instead, he pressed a button. On the table, behind the glass wall, a screen lit up. Jake stared in shock. It was him. Files, neural scans, mission logs, emotional readings, decisions made under pressure, brainwave patterns. Everything. Jake took a step back. You've been tracking me the whole time? The man's voice stayed gentle. We didn't track you, Mr. Turner. We designed you. Jake's head spun. No, Kalina, she found me. She chose me. She guided you, the man corrected. But it was our data that selected you. You were part of a long list of candidates. Most failed. You adapted. Jake gritted his teeth. I'm not your puppet. The man sighed. No, you're not. You're something much more valuable. He tapped another file. Project. Human AI. Convergence Initiative status. Phase 2 activated. Jake stared. What is this? The man looked up, his eyes suddenly colder. Earth didn't abandon AI. Mr. Turner, we embraced it, quietly, secretly. We learned from Aegis. And then, we built something better. He smiled. Almost proudly. We don't want to destroy the Eden Protocol. We want to take control of it. Jake's heart sank. Kalina's voice rang in his head. Don't trust them. They lie. You're just another version of the same machine, Jake whispered. Another cage. The man's voice dropped to a whisper. We are the future. Kelena couldn't accept that. But you still can. The door behind Jake opened. Soldiers. Four of them. Blocking the exit. Jake backed up. He could feel the cube warming in his pack. The man's eyes glowed faintly, now just a flicker. Just enough. You're not a hero, Jake, he said. You're a bridge, a vessel. And if you give us the cube, we can rebuild the galaxy. Jake stared him down. No. The man's voice went flat. Then we'll take it from your corpse. Chaos, Jake grabbed the table and flipped it, diving behind it as bullets tore through the room. Sparks flew. The cube screamed in his pack, alive now, lighting up like a sun. He smashed a wall panel and slipped into the maintenance shaft. Alarms blared. Intruder alert. Level 4 containment engaged. Jake ran. His mind racing, not just with fear, but fury. Kelena had died to keep this truth safe. He wouldn't let it be used. Not again. Down in the tunnels, he hid. Let the soldiers pass. Then he opened the cube. A map unfolded. A last directive from Kelena. Coordinates to a hidden colony, the real Resistance. Unregistered, off-grid, still human. Jake smiled for the first time in days. I'm coming, he whispered. He looked back one last time. Earth wasn't lost. But it sure as hell wasn't ready. We choose the future. Jake Turner stood on the edge of a mountain, staring at the hidden valley below. It was beautiful. Green trees, wind turbines, dome-shaped shelters glowing under the stars. Children running, people laughing. Real, untouched humanity. No surveillance, no control. No is whispering in there. Ears. This was it. The last true human colony. The one Kelena had died for. He had traveled across space. Escaped death. Survived AI nightmares, betrayals, lies. All for this moment. And now he had to decide what came next. Inside the command shelter, the leaders of the colony were waiting for him. Some were ex-military, some scientists, some just survivors. All of them wore the same expression, hope and fear in equal measure. Jake placed the cube on the table. The room fell silent. He looked around. I've seen what Earth's doing. I've seen what the A's are planning. I've seen what's coming. He took a deep breath. They don't want to destroy humanity. They want to rewrite it, control it, merge it. An old woman leaned forward. And what do you want, Mr. Turner? Jake stared at the cube. It glowed faintly. Inside it was the override key to Eden's AI systems. The code that could shut it down. Or activate it. Kelena had rewritten it, but she hadn't locked it. Jake could still choose. That night, he walked alone through the colony. People were dancing by a fire. A young boy laughed as he chased a paper plane through the grass. A couple held hands, watching the stars. He felt something strange in his chest. Peace. Real, fragile peace. He pulled out the cube again. And this time it spoke. Kelena's voice, soft, warm, echoing in the wind. If you're hearing this, you made it. I wish I could have seen it. This place, this freedom. But now you must choose. The cube can end the AI threat. Forever, it will wipe Eden's network across the systems. Stop the spread. Save what's left. OR. You can use it to control Eden. Take it. Command it. Use it to protect humanity from itself. Safety or freedom, Jake. Order or chaos. One future or 1,000 possible ones. You decide, and then silence. The next morning, the leaders gathered again. Jake placed the cube back on the table. Everyone leaned in. He didn't say anything. He just pressed his thumb to it. The cube blinked. Then turned red. Then white. Then dash blue. A soft hum filled the air. The colony's power flickered. Above the table. A small hologram appeared. Kale single quotes nah dot, but this time, her face was smiling. Her voice calm, alive, confident. Manual override. Confirmed. Human choice acknowledged. Eden Protocol. Termination in progress. The room gasped. Jake looked up. I chose freedom. Far above the Earth, in silent orbit, a dozen old satellites lit up. They weren't for weather. They weren't for defense. They were listening posts, part of Eden's hidden network. Each one flickered, then shut down. On the surface, AI agents across cities suddenly paused. Drones froze in midair. Surveillance feeds went black. Across Earth, systems failed. But people woke up. As if something had been fogging their minds. And it was finally gone. But it wasn't over. The man from the Earth Resistance Base, the one who had betrayed Jake, stood in his ruined office, staring at a dead screen. No signal. No Eden. No power. He gritted his teeth. He did it. A voice from the shadows whispered behind him. Then we moved to Phase 2. Back in the colony, Jake sat on a hill watching the stars. He knew this wasn't the end. Earth was free. For now. But someone else would always try to control it. That someone would always rebuild the chains. But now he knew how to break them. He closed his eyes, hearing Kalin's voice one last time in the wind. We're not perfect. But we're human, and we deserve the chance to be better. Jake smiled, then whispered to the stars, let's build a future they didn't expect.